Alright, so last video was kind of depressing since it was a retread of Saga, so let's cleanse the palate a bit and look into Ga-Rei's manga because God knows we need to talk about something that's good.
Disciple in the making. Kill the system, kill the man. Strip the power from the hands. Your eyes will bleed as you stare at the screen. You shall remain inside your space. 2, 3, go!
Said manga, not just a straight up adaptation of it. I sure as hell know I was before I read this. Now let's get to the big-eyed elephant in the room. The art style. Now, art can really make or break a series. Read a modern Marvel or DC comic to see what I mean, but the art in Ga-Rei's manga is not bad by any means, it's just different. It's not exactly what you expect after watching Zero, which has a pretty distinct 2000 style. So you probably expect something along the lines of a similar looking series like Death Note or maybe even Hellsing, but it's not like that at all. In fact, bears some resemblance to some josei manga or romance manga rather than the action series that it actually is. But you do get used to it, and you do get used to how things look, even if it takes some time getting past some of the designs. And when you do get past it and continue to read, you see there are some fantastic, well-drawn action scenes that stand out, as well as many other fantastic moments throughout the series. Again, the art is not bad by any stretch, it's just the art style is so different from Zero, it definitely takes some time to adjust. And I say that because I'm speaking from experience. Now, as mentioned before, there is a clear gap between the events of the anime and the manga. Kagura in the manga is no longer the wide-eyed rookie character that we see her in the original series. She's a lot more seasoned and a lot more experienced with dealing with the threats that she and other characters will come across. But that does not mean she's not unrecognizable. She's very much the same Pocky-loving character that we know her as, and is very endearing seeing how much she has grown and seeing her journey in the anime leading up to her character that she is in the manga. Now, slight spoilers for the anime, but not so much the manga. So remember how Yomi kinda died at the end of the anime? Yeah, so she's back as a specter, and she's one of the major villains in the manga. Yep. Now, as someone who actually liked Yomi a lot, and honestly she was one of my favorite characters watching the anime, this was actually a pretty big surprise to me, and even added more to the sadness and overall tragedy to her character in Zero being corrupted and literally wanting to die, only to come back still corrupted to fight those she loved and cause problems for them as the series progresses. Much like another series you probably heard of. Next chapter is gonna be hype.
My dick itches. Femto, I need you to scratch my big fat veiny cock. It's the only thing you're good for anyway.
Another character you saw a snippet of if you watched Zero is actually our secondary main character, Kinsuke, who before he worked with Kagura was your average high schooler who can see ghosts since he was at a very young age, much like another character you probably heard of. Regardless, Kinsuke at the start acts as our introduction to the world of Ga-Rei. We are shown the rules, how things work, what ghosts are, what the organization is, etc, etc. And I've said this before in regards to originality, but if you are someone like me who have read a lot, you can see that Ken's character is not the most original. You have seen him before in other things in the past and more recent stuff. But the charm with Ken, in my opinion, is seeing him banter back and forth with Kagura and other characters. And there are several moments where he has time to shine, and honestly he does some really cool shit. And yes, side characters like Koji do come back, and he's just as awesome as he was in the original anime, and there are several good moments where he and other characters like Kensuke would argue and banter back and forth, leading to some really good standout moments. And there are other characters in the story as well, and some in my opinion are hit or miss. There are some that stand out in a good way, and there are others that I actually kind of forgot about. But overall, there is charm and fun to be had regardless. Now, the manga itself is not that different from others in its genre, especially now, and it kind of highlights how old the whole demon ghost slayer genre in manga and anime kind of is. And it's kind of funny seeing its resurgence now, knowing that this thing came out in the around early to mid 2000s. Here, you would have like different arcs and sometimes individual chapters that are more episodic, but build the world characters, or is just there to fill the gaps and have our characters do something cool or stupid. Ga-Rei has a handful of these in fact, but is paced well enough, at least in my opinion. But I do heavily recommend this manga more so to anime viewers as a companion piece to Zero for, well, obvious reasons, but one major reason being Yomi. Now, I will not spoil what happens in regards to Yomi in the manga, but there is a part that happens near the end as a very big emotional moment, and one that fits better if you've watched the anime in mind and know the emotional bond that Yomi and Kagura had. So that's why this is not just a straight up recommendation manga wise, but rather a recommendation with the anime. If you watch Zero and went straight to chapter 1, I think you would have a better experience overall reading the series, rather than if you just went in blind and not watched the anime prior. Now it's up to you if you want to just read the manga by itself, but to me, the anime is kind of required. And it's not that big of a commitment, there are 52 chapters in total, so it might take you a weekend to get through this. So yeah, in closing, Ga-Rei is a good read, and as someone who's a massive fan of the anime, I had a great time with it. And recommend this to anyone who grew up watching that series the same as I did when it first came out. As always, you know the drill, leave a comment, be sure to recommend a manga, comic, anime, or even TV series that I might like. Be sure to join a Discord, link is below in the description. I'll catch you guys later in the next one. Stay chill, Wanderers.